So you have solar battery storage, that's great. Maybe you have a little more than the average person. You might have 30, 40, 50 plus kilowatt hours of storage. But the problem is you can't get those fully charged on the cheap night rate electricity. Let's face it, the batteries aren't the problem. It's because you have a small inverter. Now, maybe you have a 3, 3.6, a 5 or even a 6 kilowatt inverter. In my case, I have a 5 kilowatt inverter, and over the 4-hour period that allows me to charge my batteries up to 20 kilowatt hours. If that's not enough for you, if you're not getting enough juice through your inverter to your batteries over the period and you want to add a little bit more, in this video I'm going to show you how you can add an additional 3 kilowatt speeds. So in my case, I'll be able to potentially add another 12 kilowatt hours to my batteries in my 4-hour period. Let's get started. So this is my understairs WC, and as you can see, big hole through the wall there, and we've run some 6 squared armored cable here and 6 squared non-armored cable here. So this is the consumer unit up here. So what I'll do first is I'm going to show you what's on the other side of this wall, and well, let's get to it. Alright, so we're on the other side of the wall now. As you can see here, we have the inverter and batteries here there beside me. So just right behind me, I've tucked through a couple more cables there before I started recording. I'll just show you what I have. One of these cables is going to be for the charge inverter. This is the 6mm non-armored cable. So I'm at the stage now where I'm going to be connecting the smart Wi-Fi switch. I've just drilled a hole here. I'm going to mount it in place. So I have the cable running through. I'm going to run it behind the backer board, and unfortunately there's no earth on this Wi-Fi switch, so it's not really ideal. But I'll use the live and neutral, and then I'll take the earth and I'll run it directly down to the charge inverter itself. I'm going to run the positive and negative cables over to the bus bar. Let's get started on this section. There. Alright, so that's secured in place. Definitely not as secure as I'd like it. So what I will do, for now I'll just wire it up, but what I will do is I'll get some DIN rail, because there's a DIN rail channel on the back of this, so I'll be able to mount it on a DIN rail. Okay, so I'm going to just drill a hole under here, run the cable up and connect it. So the Sonoff Wi-Fi smart switch has been installed, obviously not connected at the consumer unit yet. So I have the lines coming in. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got neutral in 1, live in 3, neutral out 2, and live out 4. They're running behind the board here and are popping out here. This is where I'm going to install the charge inverter. I'm going to have the end of it here, fan up this end. Not ideally where I would have wanted it. I didn't really want a heat source directly underneath the inverter, but saying that, because this is a string inverter, this is going to be essentially turned off anyway when the charger is working. So between the hours of 2 AM and 6 AM, this inverter is going to switch off because there's going to be no PV provided to it, or no solar provided to it. So I think it's all working out well. Now, I did find a couple of meters of DC cable, but I actually just realized it's a 6 square is what I need anyway. So I'm gonna go pick up some more 6 square. My father-in-law has some steel straps that I'll be able to mount the charge verter to. Okay, so next I'm going to mount a batten up here, and I'm going to use some of this steel strap to mount the charge verter to it. So both the smart switch and the charge verter have been mounted. The smart switch has the lines in, live in and neutral in. That cable, as you know, is running through to the consumer unit, not yet connected of course. And then I have the live outs going back through the hardy board here and down and coming out here. So I have the live, neutral and earth from the 6 square cable coming out here, and I'm going to connect those to the charge verter because these are the AC cables, of course. They'll be connected to the charge verter, and then I'm going to have to pick up some more 6 square for the positive and negative, and then when I get that I'll be able to connect it to the buzz bars, which are just under the cabinet here. Now I've just been to the big box store. I went to B&Q, picked myself up some twin and earth 6 square cable. Now I only need 2 cores, but you can only buy single cores in 100 meter lengths. I only really need like 3 meters or so. There were 5 meters available, so I just picked myself up a 10 meter roll because I'm going to be using some of that in my bedroom to add another double socket on the other side of the room. So I just picked up the 10 meters of that. Here we are here. Now I've switched off the circuit for the charge verter. I can see that there's no light here on the sun off. So I've closed off the fuse board. Nobody's going to go near that. And I'm going to basically just hook up the charge verter to the buzz bar and the batteries. When I am working on the buzz bar and the batteries, I'm going to isolate the batteries, so I'm going to flip the circuit breakers on each of those as well, so everything will be safe to work on. Okay, so I'm going to get that done now. I'll show a little bit of that happening and I'll tell you what the next step is. Now just to drill a hole through the backer board here. So I'm going to run the cable here, just run it through the back of the board here, and then across. I'll probably have a bit of trunking between the backer boards, but for now I'm just going to run it directly across loose. I'll go again because I could take the 2 cores out and they'll easily fit through there, but I want to keep the insulation on here as well, so I'm going to just make that a little bit bigger. I might just double up on the hole and then it will fit in more easily. Going through the 2x4. Really should be putting this on a tripod, but hey, you're on top of a 2x4 right now. Wonderful. Got plenty on that. Probably about a ½ meter extra. This will be tucked up here and will eventually go into a bit of trunking. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to leave it at that for the evening. It has been a long day, and it sounds like somebody's just popped into the shower, judging by the sound of the inverter. So what's been done today? The electrician called. He terminated all of the cables into the consumer unit. Now that all the electrics are done, on the electrician side of things, I can carry out the rest of the work myself. So tomorrow I'm going to terminate this 6 square between the charge inverter and the bus bar, so I'll connect it to the bus bar. Don't want to do it now, I'm a little bit tired, so don't want to make any mistakes. I have had a little bit of trouble pairing the Sonoff smart Wi-Fi switch to the app. It's just not connecting at the moment, so I'll give that another try tomorrow and see if I can then get it working. It's been a few weeks since I've been at this unit here. Today I'm going to wire it up. I still have to cover this up, make it safe, but for now I'm just going to hook it up to the buzz bar. One problem I have is, well, I'm very happy that my father-in-law has built some shelving here behind me to store my tools, but it means I have to go through my tools and figure out where everything is now. So everything that I kind of had working on out here, I now have to kind of find because it's been put away. So you're going to see me using some dodgy tools today, simply because I don't have the time to go through and search for everything, and I'll make do with what I have just to hook this up. Hopefully I'll be able to connect the Sonoff here, the smart Wi-Fi switch to the router. I didn't have any luck doing that the last time round. Time to isolate the batteries and the inverter so the DC side of the system is safe to work on. I've already isolated the charge inverter or rectifier, so there's no power going to that, but obviously I'm going to be working on the buzz bar down here, so I'm going to turn off all the batteries. I'm going to disconnect them all here. I'm going to disconnect one of the cables from the inverter running into the batteries so I can work on it safely. I'm going to get that done now, and then I'm going to make the connection. Okay, everything is now isolated, verified as dead, so safe to work on. No power going to this, of course. So I'm just cutting it to length now, taking off the extra. main part of the buzz bar. Again, I call it 0, 1, 2, and then 3 down the end. So I'm going to connect it to section 1. Follow this around. And yes, this is a conduit cutting tool. But it works for what I need for now. What I don't need is this earth cable. So just cut it short. Then I'm going to trim these. Put these guys on. Yeah, multi-tool. So I imagine it's going to be the M10s I'm using, if I remember correctly. What I'm going to be doing is taking these M10s, they'll be going onto the cable here, and then onto the buzz bar. Now somebody did say in a previous video they were not complaining, but pointing out that I was using crappy drivers. So proper electrical drivers, you probably noticed in recent videos that I've been using these instead. So thank you for pointing that out. I am in agreement that what I was using wasn't ideal. It's fine for me, but it wasn't ideal. So I've picked up something a little better. I have a nice little set here now that I'm using. Trying not to lose any of these little screws. Get the positive one off now. Alright, so I'll make my connections either side here. That'll work. Right. Let's see. Actually, I might get away with that now. Alright, that's a size 15. Get my little extension. Now, that's a Vera set, or Wera. Okay, that's now loose, and that's now loose. Okay, next task, remove some of the insulation. This is the cable coming from the rectifier. There you go, you can see that. That's blue, which I'm going to use as the negative, and brown I'm going to use as the positive. Go. Right, and just make sure I can do what I want to do. Yes, I definitely have enough space. In fact, I'm going to need to send some of that back through because I have a little bit too much, but I don't want to cut any more off. So I'm going to hide it behind the hardy backer. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Thankfully, I'd left my solar PV crimping set in the house, so I knew where they were. I didn't have to go looking for them, so I can use this instead of the hydraulic crimp. As you can see here, we have 2.5, 4, and 6 square crimps. So I have 6 square cable, as you know. Of course, I'm going to be using the 6 square, so the larger die. I will leave a link for both the crimp and these little ring terminals in the description, just in case you need to get them. You'll want to be careful that when you're using these, if you're connecting to a buzz bar, that it's not going to interfere with the nut, or rather the nut isn't going to interfere with it. So this nut, as you can see, I'll just put at the back here and I'll center it. It just comes to the edge of the shaft there. So when I'm putting the wire in place, I don't want to come anywhere near the ring itself. So I'm going to want to place it like this, and the same one here, the same orientation, rather than it being twisted around anyway. So just be careful what way you're actually putting it in the crimp. I'll start with this one here. I'm just going to slot it into the 6 square die. I'm going to bring my cable around, I'll slot it in here, making sure I am not near the actual ring itself, and I'm going to tighten that down and all the way and loosen it up. Let's see if I have a good connection. Yep, I do indeed. All right, we'll do the same thing for the other cable. Some of these are kind of spread a little wide, as you can see there, so all you have to do is just close them in, just a little bit of pressure, so they fit more easily into the die. And get it right through. There we are. A little bit of, oh, that's twisting in the die. You want to make sure it goes in properly. There we are. So we're looking good here. And I know it's hard for you to see there, but I'll just tighten it up all the way down and loose. And there we are. Again, that's not going anywhere, and I just hope I haven't gone too far with it. Now, it goes without saying, you want to make sure that everything is dead, even though you have everything turned off and isolated. Get out your multimeter and make sure you're not getting any voltage. Otherwise, you could end up damaging your equipment or injuring or even killing yourself. So if you're not sure, don't do it. All I'm going to do now is tighten it up and make sure it's locked in place. So let me see. This is all hooked up. Obviously it needs a little bit of tidying up, but the hardware is all installed now. So I'm going to go inside to the consumer unit / fuse board. I'm going to energize the rectifier, and I'm just going to see if it works manually before I try to connect it to the Wi-Fi. Okay, here's the consumer unit. So this is the charge inverter here. I'm going to energize that now. Close the unit. In order to properly test this, I'm going to put the inverter into a charge time. So enter here, down to the advanced settings, down, down, up, enter, so 0010 essentially, down to the energy sets. Storage mode select is already on there. Self use, yes, okay. On time of use, and let's move down to charge time. So the time here is 14:41, so let's just adjust this up here. So to charge from 1 o'clock, let's say, until just throw that up at 16. Right, so that's 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. That's a charge time. I'm going to save and send. And the battery will probably start charging now. There we are, so charging at 4 kilowatt there, because there's obviously a bit of a draw in the house as well. The Wi-Fi smart switch is powered on. Now I'm just going to actually turn it on. That should now activate the charge inverter. You'll hear that sounding in just a moment, and let's see what happens here. Okay, that's turning on, and there you go, boom. Charging the batteries at over 6 kilowatt at the moment, so that's definitely doing its job. Right, just going to power this off, and you'll see this. See that was nearly up at 8 there, and we're coming back down, and that's relaxing back at the 5 kilowatt charging. Perfect. So I'm going to set this back to its standard charging times, which is 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. at the moment. And I'm going to see if I can get this connected to Wi-Fi so I can put a timer on it. That's everything back to normal. As you can see, the house is now being fed by the batteries. I've reset all of my charge timers, or rather I've put them at the charge time from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m, which is my current cheap rate. I also have it set to dump some extra energy that I have between midnight and 2 a.m. before the battery starts to recharge itself. The smart switch is working in the sense that it's not smart at the moment, it's just working as a switch, so I can press the power on button, it'll activate the rectifier or charge inverter, whatever you want to call it, and then it'll energize the buzz bar. That energy will go into the batteries, allowing me to charge at an additional 3 kilowatts because it's a 3000 watt rectifier. And as you saw here, it was up over 7 kilowatts, charging well beyond the normal 5 kilowatts that would be charging between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. As I've already mentioned, I've been having a little bit of difficulty connecting this to the Wi-Fi. It could be a distance thing, but I don't really think it is. I have read that these particular devices don't play well with all routers, so I'm going to play with that for a little while, and if I don't have any luck, I will see if I can find myself one of those Wi-Fi necker plugs and see if I can then connect it to that. So long story short, if you are looking to boost the charging speed of your batteries, that your inverter, like mine being a 5 kilowatt or even a 6 kilowatt, isn't quite cutting it, get yourself the extra 3 kilowatts, installing one of these guys. This is how you do it. As always guys, if this content has been useful, if you've learned something from it, please leave a like, subscribe. If you have any questions, ask in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.